welcome Chancellor Kuvar Shekhar Vijayendra from Shobhit University, Mr. Sandeep Marwa, Chancellor After University, and Mr. Jyotishman Datta, again the director and the owner of Assam Downtown University. Everyone for taking the time and joining to the session on Atmanirbhar Bharat. And thanks Mr. Sundar to take out time and be the host of the session for them today. Thank you everyone. Sundar sir, over to you.
Atmanirbhar Bharat, I was just looking up, the essential root meaning of it. It involves self-sufficiency, self-reliance, self-sustenance, trustworthiness, because when we trust upon ourselves, it is internal trust. But when we develop certain capacities, it involves trusting that others do towards us. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is a huge catchword today all across the country, across institutions, across governments. I think it has generated and galvanized a lot of hope and energy within the country at different levels. So I can see that energy in all of four of us here at least.
Thank you very much, everybody. And thank you to EduTV, to Pranav Guha for inviting us so frequently that many times people feel that every time we are sitting over there and maybe in our Atmanirbhar, being Atmanirbhar, EduTV is playing some important role. So when I look at okay, so thank you very much again to EduTV and everyone, those who are here. Today, we have been asked to speak on Atmanirbhar Bharat. And if I look at the vision of Honorable Prime Minister, when on May 15th, he talked about Atmanirbhar Bharat. So he has a very wide vision for the same. It is not only that there will be some investment coming of around 20 lakh crore rupees, which is equal to 10% of our GDP. It is more than that. And this complete concept of self-reliant India, it stands on 5 eyes. And we have to have an eye on that. One is intent, inclusion, investment, infrastructure, and innovation. And these 5 eyes are standing on 5 pillars again. That is economy, infrastructure again, a robust infrastructure which can represent modern India, systems which are 21st century technology driven systems, vibrant demography and demand with a very strong supply chain management system based on technology. When I look at the role of educational institutions, as here some wonderful educationists are sitting with us, the chancellors, the founders of different universities, those who have a vision for Atmanirbhar Bharat. That's why they came into this area. Many times people ask me that what role education has to play in Atmanirbhar Bharat. Because if we look at the beneficiary in the complete document of Atmanirbhar Bharat, somehow education is not much reflected over there. So basically, if I look at those who are the beneficiary of that, they are labor, they are migrants, they are fishers, they are farmers, they are organized or non-organized sector, they are small udhog, and they are those who are in the lower state of the society. How we can support them, this is important. And especially it is important because intent is irada. और इरादा जब बनता है वो इरादा बनता है यूथ के साथ, एक complete system के साथ. When I look at the demography on which I will like to speak, that complete demography is a dividend on this country. It is not a liability. Many times what we feel that this demographically rich country, which is one of the youngest country, we feel that our demography is a liability. This population, what we can do. But when I look at how we can make Atmanirbhar Bharat, then this demographically rich country, it becomes our strength. And we have to work in that direction, because infrastructure, investment, innovation, these three I's, they need qualified, well-trained, skill-oriented and skill-based, knowledge-centric economy. Our new education policy very well defines it and speaks about it. The best thing today, what is happening, that there is a synergy in the policies of the government. Many times earlier it was happening that one vision was speaking A, and the second document or the policy of a different ministry was speaking Y. Today, whatever the country is speaking about, whatever we are visualizing as a vision or a mission of the country, we are finding that they have a synergy, and that synergy has to be brought together. So as you mentioned earlier, Dr. Sundar, that around 5 minutes I have to have. So I will just say that what we have to do, we have to reset, rethink, reconfigure, redefine, reimagine, redesign, reinvent, reshape, refresh, and restart. Now, all these new start, a fresh start, what we have to give, that has to be given by our youth. And one very important thing, what I'm talking about, Atmanirbhar Bharat, that this Atmanirbhar Bharat is based on the Swaraj concept of Mahatma Gandhi. It is nothing new. It does not mean that we will have bridges, flyovers, huge buildings, then this country will become self-reliant. No, it will become self-reliant when our villages will be strong. When a student who is studying in a university in Assam or Chhattisgarh or Uttar Pradesh in some rural area or some underdeveloped area, he will not have a dream that after completing my education, I have to go to Delhi, Mumbai, Chennai, or Bangalore to get a job. When he will say, yes, I have got opportunities in my own area. That self-sustained model has to be developed. Then Atmanirbharta. And Atmanirbharta does not mean to be independent. It is very well to me, the meaning of Atmanirbhar for me is to remain interdependent. We have to be interdependent to each other. We have to understand that all the sectors, segments of the society, of our economy, they have to come together. It is not like that the IT sector will grow and rest other sectors, let them go to hell. Our MSME has to come. Kutir Udyog has to come. In Uttar Pradesh, our government has started one product initiative they have taken. Such initiatives are required even at the village level, at very micro level. And once they will come, then this Atmanirbharta, self-reliant will happen. And we have not to wait. When I say restart, refresh, we have not to wait. Many times what happens, whenever there are some packages there, we start waiting when the money will come to me. Then only I will be able to. Today morning, I was speaking on open source digital technologies. We have started an international webinar series that how India can be self-reliant in the IT sector, in digital sector, with all the resources, those who are already available. This is exactly what have to be seen. Instead of waiting for the investment to come, we have to explore, exploit, and take leverage from the resources, those who are available already, and there are more than sufficient resources available in this country. Just we need to look into them and use them. And I'm sure that this country deserves to be self-reliant. We had been self-reliant always. Independently, as an individual, we all are self-reliant. As a nation, as a team, we have to work, we have to do that handholding, and that will happen under the dynamic leadership of our Honorable Prime Minister, Narendra Bhai Modi ji, very soon. So thank you very much for inviting me and giving me an opportunity to share my views on this very important topic We all have to contribute, and let us contribute to empower our nation and to become self-reliant. Thank you very much. Namaste.
Thank you, Shekhar Kunwarji. And thank you for, also the kind words that you have used and the inspiration that you have generated. In the meanwhile, the remaining two panelists have joined us. So let me briefly introduce you to them. Dr. Devashish Bhattacharya is a surgeon, and he is interested in serving the society and making our country self-reliant in his own field. And Mr. Sandeep Shukla is the Pravakta of the Yuva Morcha of Bharatiya Janata Party, and therefore he is very closely informed about these matters. So with your permission, I would like to request Sandeep Marwa sir to speak, because he was kind enough to set the role bowling. So
Thank
sir.
you. Thank you, sir, for giving me now the opportunity to speak. The best part is that, let me start. I'm missing on my picture. Yeah, right. Well, I'm recollecting two lines, very important lines. कि स्वयं विधाता होवे मानव, अंतर में विश्वास जगाओ, चलो न मिटते पद चिन्हों पर, अपने रस्ते आप बनाओ, अपनी आत्म ज्योति पर निर्भर, अपने सूर्य स्वयं बन जाओ. Now, the fact is that I believe in spirituality, and so do Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Narendra Modi. And keeping all that spirituality in his mind, he actually announced this beautiful scheme, which is called Atmanirbhar scheme, where he believes in that positive thinking will take us to a better place, to a new stage, and to a better platform. This is the base of this whole policy. The fact is that this Atmanirbhar is not a new word. I must say that it's an old bottle, new wine, because we have learned this word in Scouts in school, in NCC in school and college, and probably every social organization speaks about this word called Atmanirbhar. Very important to get related yourself now, because when I'm speaking these two lines, it means that God has given us enough capacity, capability, and energy to do anything what you exactly want to do. The unfortunate part in this country is that we've been ruled by so many people, and lately in the last by Britishers, who never let us develop the sense of entrepreneurship. And every time they have forced us to work for them, and probably that has gone into the blood of Indians, and they feel very happy by only doing jobs and not actually becoming an entrepreneur. If you look at the statistics of income tax, you'll be surprised. Out of 130 crore people, only 5.6 crore people have submitted their income tax return, and out of which only 1.5 crore people actually paid income tax. Rest income tax returns are either for refund orders, or probably they are salaried because that TDS is a part of their system. Now imagine the whole country of 130 crore people, which is 1/6 of the world, is actually handled by only 1.5 crore entrepreneurs who are working day in, day out, putting their best, taking risk of their life, of their health, wealth, energy, and trying to contribute to the total GDP of this country, so that government gets enough funds to spend on rest of the country. Now, when Prime Minister started thinking on these points, he realized it is very important to create an environment in this country where we should generate and we should create entrepreneurs, people who are ready to take a risk of a business. And because one entrepreneur means he will be able to generate another job for his colleague, his friend, his neighbor, or a concerned or a related professional. So this is how the whole thing has started. This 20 lakh crore scheme is difficult to explain in such a short period of time. That scheme is only meant for people who will reach to a stage, people who have already doing some business, and at a certain stage, they will be able to take the benefit out of that 20 lakh crore rupees scheme. But I am not talking that because that is a complicated issue, and probably for that you need to get into a different bracket and different segment and different discussion. But today, when we are talking as a educationist, I think it's very important for all of us to set a small setup within the campus, within the education institution, where we should start talking about entrepreneurship to all the students who are directly connected to us. For example, AAFT, if I am taking care of, let's say, 3,000 students or 2,000 students in all different courses, then it is my duty to side by side create a Startup India, a Stand Up India kind of a thing again, and induce and motivate students to get into entrepreneurship rather than only looking for a job. This is what is needed today, because charity begins at home. People who are already doing business, they let them take benefit of the scheme which government is now open for, which is Atmanirbhar scheme. But that scheme is not going to change the whole system. The whole system is going to change from the education setups. And all schools, it should start with the school, and it should become a very serious matter in colleges and universities. Like, for example, I've been in this scheme for 27 years. I'm not new to this scheme. I have a small setup which says earn while you learn. This is a scheme which I have already started in my campus, and students, they become very attracted to this kind of a line, and then they start coming and inquiring about it. They say, what is this? How can we make money? Then I have to tell them that you can make money only if you generate a feeling of an entrepreneur, if you're ready to take risks. And then we have a separate department, a separate block where selected students, they approach the designated faculty, and then they explain that you are, whether if you are in a films, television, media, you are in a fashion, design, or animation, or you are in a hospitality or a tourism, business management, or a law, or you are in a photography or a PR events and advertising. So then, but then the only thing is that it has to come from students, because if that feeling to be an entrepreneur after great motivation and after great lectures and all that, it has to come from within. That yes, I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to do something big in life. I want to achieve and make a good business for myself. I want to be a Reliance one day. And why not? Because students, they have to, this is the positive thinking which we have to create in every education setup, so that today, if not today, tomorrow, we can generate some wonderful entrepreneurs. And for example, like, and I can give you a case study, like what we started, we selected 7 students who were very keen in developing a business for themselves in PR events and advertising. We started working with them. We started giving extra classes to them. We started giving them what is income tax, what is sales tax, what is service tax, what is GST, how you can operate, and to a particular limit, there is no income tax, there is no GST. You can start working right now during the learning period, and probably when you will be out of the institution, you will be an established businessman. You have your own business. Likewise, we selected 7 people from photography department. And the best part is that charity begins at home. It's not only that we talk, we start giving them money, and that induces them to work hard, to work for the company. We support them in running their company. They create their own name for their own self. And this entrepreneurship and feeling starts in the college. Now, we opted 7 photographers, and because there's so many events within the campus and around campus, we started recommending them, and these photographers started earning money. I mean, can you imagine? So likewise, if I'm not wrong, probably more than 100 companies I have already installed for my 100 different students. And this is our startup, which is not today, which is not 6 years back when our Honorable Prime Minister actually started a campaign called Startup India and Stand Up India. We've been doing it from last almost 20 years. There is a special fund in the university, there's a special fund in the college, which is meant to divide with the students as a entrepreneurship money. For example, let's say 500,000 rupees, which we have kept it separately to give it to students. I mean, I've just distributed 36,000 rupees to 7 students each for their efforts, which they have completed in the last 7-8 months for social media classes. So I'm so happy that these students have passed out in last year, this June, May and June, last exam, and they have a running income and they have an established company. I hope you can hear me. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, I mean, I can speak on it for much longer. Obviously, there are more speakers and I would love to listen to them also. So basically, it has to start from the education setups, and we have to guide them that how they can become entrepreneurs, because for entrepreneurship, you need confidence. For confidence, you need knowledge, and for knowledge, you need education. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep Marwaji, for the very, very energetic and then passionate talk that you gave, which comes from experience and rich contribution. So you have said, earn while you live has been a concept which you have grown this institution with. It is amazing to hear this. And also old wine in new bottle, but with the new spirit of Mr. Modi, I would say.
Yes.
Yes. And it is very amazing that Mr. Modi's leadership, he seems to be collecting ideas which are already having a certain momentum in the society. He gives a formalization and then adds an impetus. There's something amazing about him. Thank you very much, sir. So I would like to now invite Mr. Jyotishman Datta. And before that, I would like to introduce, there is one more Mr. Debashis who has joined from England. So maybe you could put him on, sir, Mr. Pranav. And then after that, Mr. Jyotishman Datta can begin.
A very good afternoon to all.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. See, I think as an Atmanirbhar, when the whole scheme was launched, or as Mr. Modi started talking about it, it kind of energized the whole country. There is no one in India who doesn't believe in it. No one in India who would say, I don't want it. Somewhere we all want it. And we do not see any reasons why it cannot happen. As the Chancellor of Shobit University has said, historically for thousands of years, India has been one of the most independent economy in the world and one of the most vibrant. Whatever happened historically in a 100, 200 years, things deteriorated, and kind of we are re-emerging today as a major economy or a major country in the world. For us to become Atmanirbhar is essential because this country has to grow. For all the citizens to just get a very good life or a better life, we need to grow as a country. For us to become a global superpower in terms of economically is not there's no reason that we want to take over the world or because some sense of megalomania. It is essential for us. Only if you're a major economy or globally we are a huge power, can the citizens of this country have a better life than they have today. It is essential for us to reach that position. So for that, in a way, to become Atmanirbhar is essential. And we are blessed just because we are a country with great resources, with one of the largest population, which today is going to become a big blessing. Because with a large population, you also have a large market. We are the largest consumers of anything. So in a way, any company that produces or sets up in India or caters to the Indian market has a huge captive market. Huge, I would believe, the largest market in the world. So that makes if we have the right ingredients to have a country and an economy that is entirely self-reliant. But having said that, it is a concept that has been running for a long time. But why have we not been able to do so for long? Now there is a re-energized effort, which I really appreciate the government for that. And this effort this time should be all out. Meaning, yes, when we started this whole journey of this re-emerging country, maybe 60, 70 years ago after we became independent, European powers, the American powers were much ahead of us. Technologically, monetarily, they were much ahead of us. China, more or less, in ways, started with us, but they follow the entirely different model. They follow the model where some portions of the economy where they needed help, they opened it up. Some portions of the economy where they wanted to be more self-reliant, they wanted more in-house companies to grow, they locked it up. Especially the IT sectors. Initially, when Google came, Facebook came, these social media companies came in India, China created an environment the local companies only were promoted. Yes, initially they never got the quality, but today you can see after the Chinese, after the American companies, it is the Chinese IT companies that are actually having the largest market share or creating a larger dent in the world. So this is how they kind of created. So what model will we follow politically, economically? I'm not the right person to judge, but somewhere a mixed model is perhaps what we would need to kind of, yes, open up the economy, promote great competition, but also somewhere support the local entrepreneurs, support the local industry. We, at our economic state or our technological state, cannot compete with an American company today. Day one, yes, we can compete. After 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, we can compete. So what kind of setup can be created? That needs to be seen. Secondly, this concept of Atmanirbhar Bharat is, yes, once we are all talking about the schemes, we are talking about a lot of factories being started. That is one portion of it. But also it has to be felt by every Indian that what do we want to do to make this country self-reliant? India is relatively doing much better economically. Indians are also in much better state. But one very sad thing that happens in India, it is very sad that when a new startup company started, say Flipkart, which is one of the most famous original unicorns in India, the largest investments there are done by foreigners, not by Indians. Because most Indians are risk averse. As Sandeep ji was saying, it's the whole concept of that we need to be entrepreneurs is more to do with, are we willing to invest? Are we willing to take risk? If we as Indians are not willing to promote the local companies, not just by just being customers, just even by being investors, where we also will get benefit, that is going to be a huge problem for us. Most of these foreign companies, we see now the startups, it's been listed in papers now, Series A funding, Series B funding. It is sad to see most of these funds are not Indians. Most of these funds sometimes have Indians pumping in money, but technically, politically, they are NRIs, but they are not Indians to say so. Why we Indians do not have the money? I don't think so. That is the reason. Somewhere we have to change this mentality. Even today, we are sitting as edupreneurs. We are also entrepreneurs in a way. We also have to change this mindset somewhere that we also have to take up these new forms of investing. We have a lot of traditional ways of saving in India, which has always been happening, but somehow these models also need to change. So that is a concept we need to change. And today, as we talk, I'm talking more of as an edupreneur, as education is what we need to see. Somewhere there has always been a huge aspiration for students. If you're a good student and you can afford it, let's go to America to study. Let's go to Europe to study. Yes, there are a lot of benefits in it, but somewhere I disagree. Every institute, every university in Europe or say America may not be always that superior to the Indian education system. Indian education system has a lot of flaws, I agree, but it is not inferior. It is not inferior. That is something that we should get out of our head. Parents are willing to mortgage their homes to send their kids to study abroad. Yes, they have advantage, but this education system is not inferior. We had perhaps the best education system for thousands of years. The whole world looked at it. Yes, we are re-emerging as a new country today. It takes time. Today, I would say so. The government universities, private universities are all striving to set up great education system. Because of coronavirus, whatever happened, a lot of students now had to choose universities or colleges more due to geographical restrictions rather than anything else. So somehow this crisis has created a semi-Atmanirbharta in education at least. People are not looking at options. Okay, let's look at the college because of geographical restrictions and they're figuring out things. Yes, there are courses which are available in the next city, which I was going to Delhi for no rhyme or reason. Similarly, students in Delhi are figuring out, oh yes, there are universities in Delhi for which I was going to US for no rhyme or reason. So there are things that it is making us discover. As Indian educationists, that is something we should keep talking about. Yes, we have things to learn, but we are not so inferior. Yes, I today cannot say sitting in Guwahati that my university is as good as an Ivy League university. It is not. I accept it. But students are not going to Ivy League institutes. They're going to some college in Australia, which I don't think is superior to us. Let us be honest about this. That is something we also should pride ourselves in. As Indian educationists, that we stand for something. This is what we stand for, and this is what our quality is. Secondly, we always are very happy to tie up with foreign universities, get blended programs from them, get content from them, and display it to our students. See, you study in my university, it also give you an additional XYZ program from this European university, this American university. Great. Let's learn from them. But as we learn from them, we also need to be proud in developing our concept. An American marketing concept will not work in some village in UP always, will not work in the village in Arunachal always. as universities, we should do our own research. We should develop our own case studies and invest more and more to understanding our local market. As education industry, we should, that is how contribute. If this content is ready, it should help our students to learn better, to understand India better. It will also help the industry to understand better. Sometime industry will want to penetrate, say, some far off market in Manipur, same far off market in Himachal. There would be no study of the market. And that study of the market has to be done by some academician or some university or intelligentsia of that area, because they are the only ones who would know it. Somewhere as universities, I think it is our duty that we also contribute in this way. Yes, where we need to learn, let's learn. But there are things we can also share. So let's also build up our study. Let's also build up our own techniques. And that's how we can contribute to this larger new idea that is energize this country. And let's hope for it. This time, let's go all out. There should be no half-big effort to make India Atmanirbhar. Let's go all out. Doesn't matter. Let's even do some things where the world criticizes us. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, world will follow us. Few criticism is always okay. They will always criticize us, because if we become Atmanirbhar, it will affect someone else's wallet. Let's be a fact. So we will be criticized. So it's fine. Let's accept it. We need to do it for ourselves. Sometimes a little bit of selfishness is important. Let's be selfish. Let's make this country for Indians, by Indians. Even if it costs someone else, let it be. It's rude to say so, but let it be.
Thank you very much, Jyotishman.
Shukla ji, kya haal hai?
Very, very good. And I am sure that all the other panelists will agree that the hope that Jyotishman has generated in this panel, you know, he is the next generation as such. So thank you very much for giving us. And I feel tempted to offer my help to you in any way you want. Being a more, you know, experienced, many more years.
Sure.
Very good. I'm very happy. Thank you very much. And I think just now Mr. Sandeep Marwa ji has taken leave. Now, this is the right time, I feel Mr. Sandeep Shukla should be invited, because he has a view of the government and the political setup, what exactly they are thinking. Then the discussion would become perhaps a little more richer. And fortunately, till now, we have all been adding to the information gathered in this panel, you know. That is one beauty of this discussion so far. Sandeep Shukla ji, namaste and welcome to this.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much.
Please.
And I think so in this conference, already many of the peoples, very, very experienced peoples, already explained each and everything. So there is nothing to explain from my side. But according to our Prime Minister of India, Mr. Modi, आत्मनिर्भर भारत जो उन्होंने स्कीम दी है, तो इसके तहत हम सभी को अच्छे अच्छे वर्क करने हैं और सेल्फ डिपेंड बनना है, ताकि लोगों में एक अच्छा मैसेज जा सके. So we can do the best for our India according to our Prime Minister. And I think so each and every words, each and every schemes already explained by Mr. Marwa. He's already a very good experienced person, already running a very big university. And Mr. Datta, before he's explaining each and everything, I was listening very carefully and very quietly. So each and everything should be explained. But our main motto is to, either in education society, either in industrialist, either in any of the department for India, we have to become a self-dependent according to the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi. So there's nothing to explain. And actually, I was also waiting. I have to go somewhere in another meeting. So only these words are already explained by you. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Sandeep sir. Thank you so much for taking it. मुझे पता है आप busy थे आज, ठीक है ना sir? Thank you sir.
But Sandeep sir, एक आपसे दरखास्त है.
जी बोलिए ना सर.
किसी भी देश में, किसी भी इंस्टीट्यूशन में कई लोग होते हैं जो इनोवेटिव आइडियाज लेते हैं, एनर्जी के साथ काम करना चाहते हैं, लेकिन जो जनरल वातावरण है सोसाइटी का बोलिए, गवर्नमेंट एंगल से बोलिए, सरकारी ऑफिसेस बोलिए, वहां से जो बंदिशें आते हैं और जो बाधक आते हैं, उसकी वजह से कई लोग एनर्जी लूज करते हैं.
जी बेचारे मतलब डिसमोटिवेट हो जाते हैं.
जी,
आई कैन अंडरस्टैंड.
डायरेक्शन में क्या विचार क्या है? गवर्नमेंट, सरकार और पार्टी कुछ करना चाहती है या कर रही है या कैसे है उसका?
ये ऑलरेडी आप लोग इतनी बड़ी बड़ी यूनिवर्सिटियों के ऑनर्स हैं, तो मेरा तो यही है कि आप लोगों से रिक्वेस्ट है कि गवर्नमेंट हर चीज को बड़ी ही स्मूथली कर रही है और बड़ी फास्टली कर रही है। कई चीजें, क्योंकि इंडिया बहुत बड़ा है और कहीं अगर कुछ चीजें कुछ बच जाती है जो हमारे नॉन में नहीं आता है, तो आप सबकी हेल्प के लिए हम लोग बैठे हुए हैं। प्रणव जी हैं, आप प्रणव जी के माध्यम से अगर हम कुछ काम करने में सक्षम नहीं हो पाते हैं तो उस सक्षमता को आप मेरे माध्यम से पूरा कर सकते हैं। प्रणव जी मुझसे ऑलरेडी जुड़े हुए हैं। और इसके अलावा जितने भी आत्मनिर्भर भारत की स्कीम है, जैसे कि मैं आपको बताऊं, अभी हमारे जो MSME जो डिपार्टमेंट है, एज यू नो ऑल वेल, MSME डिपार्टमेंट को सबसे बड़ा फंड हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी जी द्वारा दिया गया है। 3,09,000 करोड़ का फंड है, जो कि सिर्फ ये आत्मनिर्भर भारत को ही प्रेरित करता है। जितने भी लोग जो स्किल्स हैं, जिनके पास अपनी अपनी स्किल्स हैं, उनके माध्यम से वो लोग अच्छा वर्क कर सकते हैं। बट कई लोग ऐसे अनअवेयर हैं जिनको नहीं पता कि कहाँ ये चीज कैसे अप्लाई करनी है, कैसे काम होना है, कैसे वर्क होना है। तो उसके लिए हम जैसे लोग बैठे हुए हैं, दोज हु आर गिविंग द बेस्ट वे, बेस्ट पाथ फॉर टू डू द बेस्ट वर्क। तो इसलिए अगर कुछ चीजें कहीं रह जाती हैं, देखिए 100% सक्सेस होना हर भगवान भी नहीं कर पाते हैं, कहीं ना कहीं कुछ ना कुछ थोड़ा बहुत कमी रह जाती है। उन कमी को पूरा करने के लिए आप हम लोगों के माध्यम से कर सकते हैं। अगर कहीं जैसे अभी मैं शोभित यूनिवर्सिटी के जो ऑनर थे बोल रहे थे, मैं सुन रहा था उनको। अभी दत्ता साहब बोल रहे थे, मैं उनको भी सुन रहा था। इससे पहले मारवा जी बोल रहे थे, उनको भी सुन रहा था। और डॉक्टर सुंदर साहब, आपकी बातों को बड़े अच्छे से सुन रहा था। तो आप लोगों ने ऑलरेडी, आप लोग बहुत 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 ज्यादा एक्सपीरियंस्ड हैं। आई थिंक आई एम टू लेस। मैं आप लोगों से बहुत छोटा हूँ, बच्चा हूँ भी, इतना मतलब ये बोल सकते हैं कि इतना अनुभव नहीं है। बट जितना सरकार का, गवर्नमेंट का, जितना हमारे पार्टी का, हमारे संगठन का अनुभव है, उसके माध्यम से मेरा यही कहना है कि आप लोग जितना भी करना चाहते हैं उस बेस्ट वे में आप लोगों के लिए हमारे तरीके से तैयार है। जहां भी अगर कुछ कमी आती है, कुछ चीजें आती हैं, मिस्टर प्रणव के माध्यम से हम इस काम को कर सकते हैं।
जी बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
गवर्नमेंट की जितनी भी अप्लायंसेस हैं, उसको आप अच्छे से उसको यूज कीजिए। कुछ भी कमी होती है तो आप डायरेक्ट गवर्नमेंट के भी ऐसे कई सारी वेबसाइट्स हैं, कई चीजें हैं जिनसे आप डायरेक्ट कांटेक्ट कर सकते हैं। बट अगर फिर भी आप लोग नहीं कर पा रहे हैं तो आप प्रणव जी के माध्यम से आप मुझसे मिल सकते हैं, हम उस चीजों को पूरा करने की कोशिश करेंगे। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद संदीप जी। आपने एक तरह से एक जो सरकारी ओर से एक दम दिया है इस चीज को। और छोटा बड़ा साहब कोई नहीं होता है, एक विनम्रता चाहिए हर एक को। ह्यूमिलिटी बेसिकली वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, अपार्ट फ्रॉम
दैट इज द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग,
वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट। और प्रधानमंत्री जी जो है उस चीज का एक अनोखा उदाहरण है ह्यूमिलिटी का। तो जिसकी वजह से देखिए, उन्होंने खिलौने के बारे में कहा, टॉयज के बारे में, मन की बात में, देश के टॉयज के बारे में, और एक आवाज के साथ कितने सारे आर्टिकल्स आ गए हैं ज्योतिष जी in the newspaper, so much of analysis of toys just with one sentence of Mr. Modi.
In a second only, right.
ये जो एनर्जी जो उत्पत्ति हुआ है देश में, ये बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट है। और आपसे भी वो एनर्जी दिख रहा है जो पार्टी में फैलता होगा। तो बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद संदीप जी, आपको
थैंक यू वेरी मच जी। आप लोगों से मिलकर बहुत अच्छा लगा, बहुत अच्छा आप लोग कर रहे हैं। और कभी भी कोई जरूरत हो तो आई एम ऑलवेज अवेलेबल फॉर यू एंड विल डू द बेस्ट टुगेदर। थैंक यू वेरी मच।
And now
Thank you, Sandeep sir.
Dr. Devashish ji, sorry for making you wait.
No, perfectly all right. This is such a pleasure and an honor to actually be in this very august gathering today. When Dr. Marwa was speaking, it took my mind back to my days at university when I was training to be a doctor and a surgeon. I wish we had Atmanirbhar Bharat. I had people like Dr. Marwa, Mr. Datta, and all of you all to instill into me this feeling of Atmanirbhar. My father kept telling me this, Atmanirbhar. For me, my life was sorted. I was a good Bengali boy, very good in studies, got through all my entrance. I was going to go abroad, dump myself in some part of the world, drive an Audi car, Mercedes Benz, have a nice family, life sorted. Okay? I will not have to look back. But very interestingly, Mr. Datta was saying that, and I achieved it. Okay. So Mr. Datta was saying about abroad. It is actually when I was working abroad, my white and English colleagues and seniors, they pulled me up. They said, what do you think you're doing? Because in those days, I used to think, I'll try to act very Angraj, so I'll be a part of the English society. They said, what do you think you're doing? Okay, you come from a country of thousands of years of culture. We tell our children, look at his humility, look at the way he talks, and you're trying to behave like our children who are like we tell them you behave like him. Your academic, your education, have you ever looked inside? What is inside you? They told me, this is what you want. We all see and say, oh, this fellow's come here, he wants one job and his life is sorted. Look inside and see, find your purpose in life. It is a mindset. It is in the Western world that I understood what Atmanirbhar is. They believe in their own countries. They don't go and till foreign lands like us, isn't it? We sit and we think England is the solution to everything. America is a solution to everything. English people think England is a solution to everything. And this Atmanirbhar, this concept of Atmanirbhar is so important in India now, and we are very lucky to get this. That yes, you go abroad, you stay abroad. I live abroad because it is more convenient for me. My daughter is growing up, fantastic. But this country, there is so much talent, there is so much resource in this country. And today in this online world, I'm virtually, camping in India since the time COVID started. Entrepreneurship, we don't have the mindset, and it is, I think you teachers, it is a mindset that you need to develop in your students of self-belief, of what is of instilling the purpose in life, and that you yourself, you are your best guide. I used to think England was my best guide. America was my best guide. And the English people told me, no, you are your best guide. We are not your best guide. So I said, what do I do? I said, how do I know? And honestly speaking, and that was such an important conversation, which initially I thought was racism. I thought these guys are so racist, they don't want me. That is why they're doing this. I completely misunderstood them. And it is after that I started looking into myself. Today, entrepreneurship, my surname is Bhattacharya, a completely wrong surname for entrepreneurship. Okay, that is what I used to think. But when I looked inside, when I spoke to people, I learned. It was very difficult. I have no business qualification. And business, actually, that's what I keep saying in other groups. MBA karke, you don't do business. Business is within. Business, you learn from your colleagues, your friends. Business is about leadership. Business is about teamwork. There are various aspects in business. We get scared investment. For the right idea, if you have the innovative idea, you will get money. Money is somebody else's department. The whole thing is about wealth creation. I was actually training myself for wealth destruction, okay, and not wealth creation. And this is an idea we need to instill right from the university days. The moment he finishes school, comes into university, and that is why Harvard, you see, Harvard has all the best entrepreneurs. It is West. You see, everything, why does it come from America? Because they believe in themselves. And this is one of the things, this is my purpose in life. All these fellows are dropouts. The biggest entrepreneurs in the world are dropouts. They do not even finish university. Why is that? Because from day one, they're looking inside, they're looking at their friends. And these friendships are not just for chai, adda and all that. These are the relationships which go forward and become strong bonded relationship, and they work. And today when I sat down yesterday, I was very emotional with a friend of mine. We went to school together. He became an engineer, I became a doctor. Now he's running hedge funds and all that. I'm into digital. So we both came together after so many years with the Digital Health Entrepreneur in India, and it was very nice because the relationship is there. I don't have to build trust with this chap. I know him since we were 5 years old. Okay, so this is the relationship that you carry forward. And this is what the university should invest in. Invest in your own people. Money today, this is the great idea. Take it to somebody who wants to invest. That is a professional thing. Okay, like my friend, he became engineer hedge fund. Today, I don't have to think about money. I'll tell him, listen, this is the best idea in the world. You get the money. That is his job. He doesn't have to think about health. Okay. The big problem is we want to do everything together. No, it is a team sport. And this coronavirus has taught us one thing. You know, all of us doctors have failed our exam. Okay. Because none of us have found the answer to coronavirus. Okay. So how are we dealing? We are dealing by learning from each other. Today, Harvard, All India Institute, and Behrampur Medical College have all become the same. Why? We are learning. We are learning what is happening in Odisha, in England. Okay, oh, they are doing this in India. And this is how the world has come together. And this is what business is all about. Business is not money. A lot of people equate business with money. Business is not just, the money is important, but also the structure and the processes is important. Yes, I have the wrong surname for business. Okay, because I come from an average and ordinary working family. Okay, so I don't have the money to invest in business. But my industrialist friend who I spoke to, he told me the first thing that, so where are you going to get the money? You I said, I'll have some saving and all that. You're going to use your own money to invest in business. So I said, yes, that is the thing. That is why you people are ahead. So that is a mistake you fellows make. Take money from the market, put it back to the market. And there is a science in that. It is when you're taking somebody else's market, you're putting in most effort. Okay, if your father is giving you the money, oh, my father is giving, I don't have to give it back. But somebody else is giving you the money, your quality improves automatically because that fellow is not your father. If you can't give his money back, you're in trouble. So this is an attitude which should be cultivated. Leadership, risk-taking, you know, mentorship. MBA is not the solution. The solution is building the personality. Like what Dr. Marwa was saying, what Mr. Datta was saying. Of course, Mr. Datta has put a different thing, but he's very right. You know, you should believe in yourself. And that is the difference between the West and us. He's an average fellow. We people, we are topping classes 100%. We don't believe in ourselves. We go there and stand in front and say, England. Oh, I have come to England. And no, England is made by people. The NHS is made basically from Indian, you know, kind of brains. So we Indians are not believing in ourselves. How will the West believe in us? And that is why you have all this, they are investing. So now you believe in yourself. From India, you have that, and I think it was Mr. Datta was saying, or Mr. Marwa, see, I'm shocked at India, the guidelines. In India, they're using European guidelines to treat Indian patients. We use American. There is competition. When I was training, the competition, this was on American guidelines, this is a British guidelines, this is. But where is the patient? This patient is a simple fellow speaking Tamil, Telugu. He has a different struggle in life. But English fellow is a different person. So why can't we, you know, generate our own guidelines? Yes. The one thing that the West gives you, what I have learned in the West, is a structure and process. To adopt a structure and process and the integrity. That is one thing there. If you say in the UK, at least in medical science, the doctor is still on top. You take that, okay, and then put your own Indian stuff in. And Indian brain is the innovation. Indian is the best in the world. It's just we don't have leadership, we don't have processes, and that is what my effort is in India, is to bring the Western process and leadership. I work in England. I have, you know, Swiss colleagues, and that is what we say. I tell them, listen, Switzerland, we don't want your things, we want your structure, and we want the Indians to become like German in their approach, or Swiss in their approach. Okay, you know, especially I work a lot with these Germans and Swiss people. I always say Bayern Munich defense. You cannot score against them. First thing that a German or Swiss person will do is safety. Okay, but creativity is Indian. You know, how to create something out of structure. So this is my 2 pence. It's such a pleasure speaking to you. And Dr. Marwa has been so inspirational. I wish I met him. Mr. Datta, fantastic. You must spend some time in the Western world. And don't learn, drinking alcohol in the West. See what they do, how they look after each other. You say white privilege. You learn what is white privilege. My person is first. They will tell you on your face, listen, mate, I have my own boys to look after. Okay, so I will look after them first. Okay, in India we will say, oh, you've come from Japan. You stand in front, I will stand behind. Okay, Devo Bhava is good, but don't overdo it. Okay, Apna Devo Bhava also. You have your own gods. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Saab.
Namaskar.
You brought in,
yeah, this
you brought in a completely new dimension related to health, which is also very important for an Atmanirbhar Bharat. Unless we are healthy and fit India is prosper India. That is also so very, very nicely you have brought that whole thing in. And then as far as Jyotishman is concerned, he looks like a bright, stellar figure with a lot of hope. I'm sure that he must visit. So, Mr. Jyotishman, if I may ask you a question, and also for Dr. Debashis and others. See, we are talking of the university, that is college and university level education, and how to enhance the quality, how to improve competence, entrepreneurship, leadership, etc. at that level. For making that endeavor richer, faster, and deeper, in terms of vertical integration, if we have to look backward integration, what is the kind of input you're looking for in colleges and schools for your feed into the universities? Because you get better input, your output will increase. Can you give some insight into it offhand?
So I have one observation, meaning we've been doing this for only 9-10 years. There's one observation that I have very clearly seen. Students, when they come to take admissions, it's very bad to say 90-95% of them have no clue what to do. No clue. Marks are, I hope no parents are watching this, marks are irrelevant in this world. Especially in today's world, in terms of, I have seen students when they graduate, the kind of jobs they get, or they go to crack some competitive exam, or they start up a business. Inherently, the marks they got in school is mostly not related. The better students actually take safer options. The ones with higher marks take up the safer options. The unsafe options, the riskier options, which are the successful options, are taken by the mediocre and the actually not good students, which is something that I have observed. These are just observations. I cannot give you a thesis on this with correlating what is the reason. But the biggest problem I have is these students are clueless. They will come and do a course just because they liked biology. They will take a course with do something, and at the end of the third year, they will say, I don't want to do this job. You don't want to do this job. You wasted your 3 years of your life. This year, one of our physiotherapy students picked up in Amazon. It's nothing wrong, but per se, he likes coding. He does it as a hobby. We have open choice courses. So he learned coding in open choice courses, but spent 4 years studying anatomy physiology, which he's not interested in. So I don't know how this needs to be done. As a university, we just have 2 years or 3 years or 4 years time. So we don't get too much time spending in that. We actually spend a lot of time in training him in domain knowledge and giving him other career choices and trying to make it as open as possible. But mostly we don't have a lot of choice in the choice that he's taken in selecting the course per se. So I believe 80-90% have made a mistake, which I'm saying. I'm seeing my own students and I feel 80-90% make a mistake.
Can I answer this? I mean, this is the solution that I have been looking for, and this is the solution I got. Okay. And this is something, it will not sound very nice. It is our education system. Our education system is very skill-based. No, this is nothing wrong. Okay. We are very skill-based. We teach people to be better in maths, physics, chemistry, geography, and whatever it is. Okay. There is nothing wrong in this. Please, I'm not criticizing. But what I am saying is, yes, I am a product of that system. Yeah? And I will say one thing, I will bring myself into this thing, but along with the physics, maths, you should build the personality of the child and observe the child. This is right from school, okay? And observe the child, where is he heading? Okay, so what actually happens is, our seniors, they found one way this is the best option. And as parents, we become very protective about our children. Okay? So we always offer the safest option. As a good Bengali boy, my father said there are only two professions where you met, doctor or engineer. Okay? I liked biology more, so I became a doctor. Okay? But I don't regret it. It's one of the most brilliant professions in the world. But I was lucky. Some of my friends were not lucky. So when they went for doctor and engineer, some went for engineering, some went for doctor, some didn't get either, and they went somewhere else. So our parents did what they believed is right. What other parents were doing. But the world has changed now. Today, I will not tell my daughter what to do. Why? Because she is exposed to so much of so much of information in school. They're learning new things. And the most important thing, our parents, they thought the best for us because they grew up in a lot of struggle times. No, our parents, what we had partition, is that India was not so developed at that time. So for us, so we have to change the edition of the book. So let them tell us, let them search. Important thing, how I bring my daughter up is I take her and put her in the environment. Okay, give her the experience. Whether she likes it, she will tell me, Dad, I like this, I like that, and let her form her own opinion. And so that they don't, you be there, but don't interfere. Yeah, if they're going completely on the wrong track, then you say, no, yeah, this is not true. If today my daughter says, I want to become film star and all that, I said, listen, mate, film star is not so easy for you. You are good for this. This is this option. Give them slight Lakshman Rekhas. So that they just don't go something bizarre, but let them come up with their own thing and instill, wealth creation right from the beginning. Okay, like my daughter is a photographer. She's 15. She's one of the. So I told her, listen, think in terms how you're going to sell. What does she need to learn now? Not investment. She needs to learn that to sell, I have to shoot the best quality photograph. And that is enough. Okay? To make money, I have to shoot a photograph in such a way that somebody will take money and offer it to me. Okay? So at the younger age, don't have to bring them into income tax and GST. That will come later. But from the younger age, instill quality. Instill that it is not anybody. See, a lot of us think, this is not good, you buy it from somewhere. No. You will produce the best thing at home. Okay? On the wall, if my child is a painter, I'll say you should paint in such a way so that I put your picture ahead of everybody without any grace marks. So yes, so instill this thing from the childhood. Look at the child's personality. If your child is not a leader, don't force him to be a leader. Okay? If he wants to, there is nothing wrong in being a follower. Okay? But for us, everybody has to be head of the department. Everybody has to be professor. No, he is probably happier doing, multiple things. Let him do it. If he wants to follow, let him follow. If he doesn't, there's something, even in England, I find parents, hounding their children. English people, you have to get 90%, otherwise what will you do in life? No, he is made for 70%. But this is what is good. Like job interview when you take, I'm sure you take, what do you say? Okay, fine. Out of this criteria, you have this, but you don't have that. But sometimes you take people who don't have the criteria because they have something else which they will bring to the table. Another thing is, what will you bring to the table? Even for job interviews, nowadays, if you're not an entrepreneur, job interview, at least at senior level, when you go, they will ask you, what are you bringing to the table? Why will I hire you? Okay? Which means what extra? So what do you have to do? You have to look in the company and say, listen, this is what you need and this is what I have.
And the journey was with papers also. Papers, we used to, find, every Sunday we used to write letters. I was very young. Maybe I was in 6, 7. So
I think that your parents used to go to post office also, no?
Yes, post office and collecting letters from there, every time doing something or the other new. Finding a match for my elder sister and sitting with my brother, selecting them, and then See, that was a very tedious process. So little later, I got into some other offices too. I worked for some financial services, and I worked for CA also. You know,
You
different
also, I
experiences.
think you work for IPAN also, na?
Yes, I worked with the HTA's sister concern, that was IPAN, Public Affair Network. I worked there, and then I joined forex trading for a while, and then from there we three of us we sat together, and then we had this idea to come up with the matrimonial services, and that's how we started with three people. It took 4-5 years to settle down in the business, and everybody used to fight and shout at us, why you are doing this business, this is not meant for you. And then slowly we gradually we had made our base nicely, and then big struggle of my husband, and that's how.